It's still only the first week of February. We're just about to go into the second week already. And although we're having night frosts at the moment, during the day now the sun is higher in the sky, it's generating just a little bit more warmth than what it was a month ago. And that warmth is going to do nothing but increase slowly over the period of the next few weeks, although beware, there will be another cold and frosty spell. The warmth that is being generated by the sun isn't quite warm enough to tempt butterflies out of hibernation yet. However, those butterflies that overwinter while in the pupal stage, things are slowly starting to happen, and especially to one of the two pupae that I'm sat at the side of. Things are afoot, even if it is far too early. Now you'll have to use your imagination and remember what I look like, because I know that you'll find it very hard to see me behind this thin twig. The thin twig is last year's remnants of garlic mustard, sometimes called Jack by the Hedge, which is a lovely name. The Victorians and the Edwardians certainly knew how to name plants and butterflies and moths especially. Jack by the Hedge is a biennial, so in the first year it just produces a tough rosette of leaves, but then the following year produces these erect stems capped with tiny little white flowers on. Very soon those flowers start to set seed and form seed pods. The whole thing forms a food plant of the orange-tipped butterfly, and just here are two orange-tipped butterfly pupa. It's quite a remarkable pupa. One is especially remarkable in that it's still green. Initially, when the larva of the orange-tipped butterfly pupates in the late spring or early summer period, it is green like this one here at the bottom of these two. But normally after a few months or a couple of weeks, that pupa then becomes this straw brown colour, and that's the coloration that it remains throughout the rest of the winter. I found this bottom one only a couple of days ago, and I was quite stunned to find it. This other one I've just fixed onto this stem just so you've got a comparison and can see the two pupa. I will put some close-ups in so you can see exactly what you're looking at. But what's most interesting and in a way worrying is that this top pupa, you may well be able to make out there is some coloration, and that coloration is from the developing butterfly inside, and you can see that this is a male orange-tipped pupa. In all likelihood, and going by size, the bottom one will also be male. It's quite remarkable, and I say worrying, that here we are at the end of the first week of February, and this orange-tipped pupa is in the process of forming, and in the latter stages of forming and colouring up before emerging as a butterfly. Hopefully these colder nights that we've had will keep it back, but I've reared a lot of orange tips over the years in captivity. I've never had butterflies or pupa forming up this early. Perhaps it's a sign of the times, but what I think it probably is, or most likely is the fact that when we have these cold periods where the temperatures are very low even during the day, and then especially low during the night, they finish and it becomes milder. I seem to think that the cold period that we had just before Christmas, a couple of weeks before Christmas, it might have been the first half of December, once that ended, there was nearly a 20-degree jump before temperatures gradually dropped and got somewhere back to near where they are. Obviously, it varies depending where you are in the UK. But here in Nottinghamshire, we have very, very mild winters, no matter what the locals will tell you. And although we've had a second cold spell in January, and now it's become mild again, it doesn't help butterflies and moths in the wild. They end up where they don't know where they are. Now, whatever the cause of the variations in temperature, whether it's global warming or a natural warming process of the earth, I don't know. But what it does do is cause problems or potential problems for invertebrates. Although, on the whole, I don't think I've ever seen a wild emerged orange-tipped butterfly not come out before the first flowers of garlic mustard have appeared. But occasionally, pupation will take place on the old stems of garlic mustard. And when that happens, you can walk along woodland rides and look for these old stems, and if you're lucky, and if you can look long and hard enough, you may well get to see these beautifully formed pupa. Most of them will be this straw coloured. In fact, they should all be this straw coloured. But, as I found a couple of days ago, you might still get one that for some reason has stayed green. I've no idea why that is, because it stands out like a sore thumb. But otherwise, the shape of the orange-tipped pupa is quite magnificent, really, when you think about it. And it's very reminiscent of these old seed pods, or the remnants of the old seed pods that you get on garlic mustard. But occasionally, and perhaps more often, the larva will wander and find a more substantial stem to pupate on. But look on these old flower heads and seed heads of garlic mustard. You may well be lucky enough to find this most iconic butterfly. For me, the first male orange tip flying along a woodland ride or along a hedgerow is the first sure sign of spring. I know a lot of people will say, no, that's the brimstone, but the brimstone emerges early, emerges out of hibernation. But when you know that something's emerged after overwintering as a pupa, that to me is a more substantial, or shall we say proper sign of spring. And the male orange-tipped butterfly is an absolute corker. So, until that first male orange-tip appears along your local woodland ride or your local hedgerow or even in your garden, now have a look for these pupa. Get the kids involved, get them looking. It's quite a find, to be honest, but one that's well worth it when you do find one and you succeed in the end.